There are a few paths you can go down in the animal kingdom that are tried and true. Strength and power are great, but only if you can catch what you're after. The Roadrunner is famously hard to catch. Just ask a coyote. But when you're a high-performance athlete in a hot climate, it's important to keep cool. Beating the heat is essential when you're trying to run the race of survival in life, death, and taxonomy. Welcome back to Life, Death, and Taxonomy. It's your 30 minutes of interesting animal information. I'm Joe.
And I'm Carlos.
Thank you to Cassie for the creation of our theme song. To hear more of Cassie's music, please search Cassie Michelle on YouTube or Spotify.
And thank you to Johanna for the creation of this week's artwork. To check that out, you can follow us on Facebook or Twitter at LD Taxonomy, or visit us at our home on the web at ldtaxonomy.com. And a very special thank you to our patrons. Thank you to Tristan Taylor, Jesse Raspolich, Carol Raspolich, Paul Chomo, and Richard Kaspar. Thank you so much for your support. It's greatly appreciated, and thank you for helping us keep the lights on.
And today we're talking about a bird who's a runner. She's a track star, but more on that later.
He's going for distance. He's going for speed.
Yeah.
We are talking about the greater Roadrunner.
That's right.
I didn't know there was a greater and a lesser.
Yeah.
Major and a minor, but yeah, there's the Roadrunner, pretty much. So we're going to call it here, Come At Me, Bro.
Yeah.
One ran over the cuckoo's nest.
Good.
And float like a butterfly, speed like a beamer.
That's very good. 3 out of 3.
That was all Bibby. All three of those. Earlier I was like, hey, I can't think of any nicknames. And then like I went to go take care of the kids for a while, and I was like with him in the I was helping bathing them in the tub, and then Bibby just busts in the room and she's like, all right, come at me, bro. I was like
she hasn't lost the mojo.
But like I'm just picturing her like, because then she was probably cleaning up downstairs while I was with the kids, and so just picture her like picking up toys and wiping things down, going like, come at me, bro. Oh yeah, come at me, bro. Oh, I can't. Something flew over the cuckoo's nest. But yeah, she's a great help in the creative department here. Because after a long day of work, like my brain is just fried. You mind if I do a little bit of taxonomy over here?
I'm gonna go for it.
Just a little bit, if you'll indulge me. The kingdom is one you know, love, and are in. The kingdom is Animalia. Phylum is Chordata, because it's got a spine. Class is Aves. It's a bird, so it has a hollow spine. I mean, I guess all of our spines are hollow, because you gotta have nerves and stuff go through there. The order is Cuculiformes. So it looks like a cuckoo. The family is Cuculidae, which sounds refreshing. Like a Cuculidae. The genus is Geococcus. Geococcus. Once again, referring to its spine. That's your tailbone. It's what Napoleon's grandma broke. Took a spill out on the dunes. Broke her coccyx. But Geo, yeah. I guess rock tailbone. The species is Californianus.
Californianus.
That's the third California-oriented Red Hot Chili Peppers song. There's Danny California, Californication, and Californianus.
Yeah.
That one didn't sell as well. It didn't become a single like the other ones. But it's Geococcus Californianus. And since we're in the business of naming things, it's time for my favorite part of the show, critter groups. The part of the show where I ask you, Joe, a question, and that question is the same every time. What is the name of a group of this animal? What is its term of entry? Or what is a collective noun? And we're doing a bird, which means we get a good one. We're not doing a lizard, we're not doing a frog or an ant, or fish, where we've already beaten that one into the ground. We're doing a bird. And those ornithologists are great with terms of entry. And we've got one for the Roadrunner. So, Joe, if you saw a group of Roadrunners, would it be A, a sprint of Roadrunners, B, a marathon of Roadrunners, C, a jog of Roadrunners, or D, a dash of Roadrunners?
A dash sounds like a small amount.
Like a pinch?
Yeah. I like a dash a lot. I'm going to go with dash. Final answer. I'm not going with my gut.
What does your gut say?
Sprint.
What does your heart tell you? Does it tell you that Frodo's life? That hot. Both of those are wrong. The answer is B, marathon.
Oh, okay.
It is a marathon
Then
of
I don't
road
feel
runners. Because you probably run a marathon on a road. Probably.
that. True. Sometimes.
You don't have to
cross
sprint.
country.
True. Personally, I probably would have gone with sprint or dash, like if I was creating the term of entry, because it's not like they run forever. They run really quickly in short bursts. They can run for a while though. Yeah, a marathon of Roadrunners. Let's talk about what this looks like. So the Roadrunner has an overall ostrich-like shape, which makes sense given that both birds like to run. They have this long neck, a compact body, and very long legs, strong legs. Unlike the ostrich, however, the Roadrunner has useful wings. It can fly. Hooray! It has a long, curved pterodactyl beak. When I saw a close-up picture of this, I was like, I don't think I can. I couldn't think of another bird that this beak looked like, and the only thing I could think of was a pterodactyl. It's really unique because it's not like a heron's sharp bill, or it's not like the curved like hawk or parrot or something like that. I think pterodactyl is the closest thing I've got. What do you think?
It's pretty Passeriform to me.
But it's got that that downward bent at the very end, and it's really long and narrow.
Crows? Like a crow's a little thicker.
Maybe a bit of crow there. A little bit of crow.
It's like a crow, but thin. I see what you're talking about. Pterodactyl.
Definitely pterodactyl. Plus, on top of this pretty unique beak, it also has a unique beak. It also has a big mohawk. This regal mohawk tuft, which is the inspiration for the cartoon Roadrunner. Or at least that has the tuft on it. It has dark brown, black, and white spots on its head, back, neck, and tail, but its belly is completely white. It's got that counter shading, even though it doesn't necessarily need the counter shading because it can fly, but it does not do so often. So not a lot of things are going to be looking up at it, in a way that would make camouflage make sense. There are also characteristic bright red spots just behind its eye, kind of actually closer to its ear holes, that are sometimes covered by its larger brown feathers, but from certain angles you can see it very clearly. And it has a very, very long tail. Like, it almost doubles the Roadrunner's length. and it's used while running. I'll talk about that later when we talk about running. But this is very ostrich-like, but it is not as big as an ostrich. By no means.
Do you want to know how big it actually is?
I do. I would. That'd be nice.
Welcome to the Beloved Measure Up segment, the official listener's favorite part of the show. The part of the show when we present the animal size and dimensions in relatable terms to a quiz that's fun for the whole family. It's also part of the show that's introduced by you. When you send an audio of yourself saying, singing, or chittering, the words measure up into ldtaxonomy@gmail.com. Guess what? We have a new Measure Up intro this week.
What? I want to do that Tim and Eric thing where it's like,
without further ado, the listener's favorite part of the show.
Measure up. Measure up. Measure up. Go Colors. Go Colors.
Wait, did I think somebody said go Carlos.
yeah, I thought I heard that too. Is that the pools?
Yes, that is the yes.
Yeah.
You are given the spirit of the pools to get a nursing school victory.
Someone out there is cheering me on, and it's giving me strength.
Thank you to Joy, and I also heard several others in there, including Calvin and Julia.
It sounded like all three. It sounded like the clan. Mm-hmm. And that was some pretty good harmonies too.
Oh, did she say something in the email? We haven't done one in over a year, she said. And not a moment too soon. Thank you, yeah. Joy. Thank you to the kids for their frequent additions. I should mention that Joy said that I sounded quieter than you with I have this new kind of setup in terms of where I'm recording. So my other mic, which had no fancy arm to sit on, was kind of too far away from me. So now the first episode I'm recording on my new Rode microphone is the Roadrunner episode. Isn't that great?
It's a Rode microphone. I didn't know that, huh?
So
we're retiring the old Blue Yeti that we've had for like 8 years.
No, it's still going to be around because if I ever have to record multiple people at a time, if we're ever recording in the same room, it'll be a lot easier to use that.
Very true.
In a deluxe studio. But let's talk about length. It's between 52 and 62 centimeters or 20 to 24 inches. How many Roadrunners go into the height of an organ pipe cactus?
Organ pipe cactus? Is that like the classic cactus? Like the cartoon cactus?
Well, here's a hint. An organ pipe cactus is a cactus species native to the Sonoran Desert. It grows straight up in bunches of a dozen or more stalks, hence the name. So it's like you've probably you would not think this was alien if you saw it. You'd recognize it.
I hope I wouldn't think it was alien.
That'd
be trippy.
Cactuses that grow in these bunches. Its fruit is harvested by the Seris, which is an indigenous tribe that lives in northern Mexico.
And this is the tallest one of these?
Just the height of one. I went with the upper end of average.
Oh, I guess those things can be like, I'll say 15 feet. That sounds pretty decent. And 24 inches. That's 2 feet. This is easy. 7.5.
7.5 Roadrunners.
Yeah, 7.5 Roadrunners go into the length of this cactus. Final answer.
The correct answer is 12 Roadrunners.
Come on. I had the pool strength and everything.
The cactus can reach up to 24 feet.
Ugh. I'm sorry, everyone.
There, you might still be able to use it. Let's talk width. They're between 221 and 538 grams, or width. I mean, weight. They're 7.8 to 19 ounces.
It's a big difference.
So, how many Roadrunners how many Roadrunners would a coyote have to eat its weight in Roadrunners? So here's a hint. Now, the coyotes live all over North America across several different biomes, and they've been spotted on the opposite side of the Panama Canal to their home territory. So here's another trivia question. I'll give you a 5% bonus, extra credit, if you can tell me, if you drove to the Panama Canal, what of the 8 cardinal directions, north, south, east, west, and then the ones in between, what side of it would you be on?
Of the 8?
Yeah.
I guess I'd be on the northwestern side. Or maybe just west.
Is that your final answer?
Yeah.
I'll give it to you for west, because that you don't think about that much. That the
Panama curves off
to
be horizontal.
Yes.
To be latitudinal.
You would definitely be on the west, but it's almost southwest. Yeah, it is southwest. Yeah, it curves up. I never really think about that. Whenever I think about the Panama Canal,
you just think of Central America just as going straight down.
Yeah, I think like I need to go south across the Panama Canal if I want to get across it. Very interesting.
I'm gonna say 25. 25. A coyote would have to eat 25 Roadrunners to eat its weight in Roadrunners. I'm assuming that a coyote is 30 pounds. That might be. Coyotes are like. We just saw several coyotes up close at the zoo. They were actually out and about this time, and they looked to be like on the small end of medium when it comes to dog things. So I'm going to say 30 pounds. So 25 Roadrunners.
Final answer.
Yeah.
The correct answer is 37 Roadrunners.
Is that nursing?
Coyotes can weigh up to 44 pounds or 20 kilograms. Now with 5%, does that get you there?
No, that gives me to 72%.
Undergrad.
72.5.
You'd pass your undergrads.
No. How am I supposed to practice as an LPN now?
There are probably many, if not most, coyotes in the weight you estimated, especially in the Sonoran Desert, where they're typically smaller than like
a captive one would be.
Eastern and northern coyotes.
Also, those were Floridian. Those are Floridian coyotes because it was in the Florida loop of the Jacksonville Zoo. Man, I feel like I really squandered that pool energy.
You were so close.
I feel like you know when you play a video game and you get like a consumable that like ups your strength or something like that, but there's only 2 of them in the whole game, and you use it and immediately die. Like I feel like that's what happened.
You used your master.
I got this
ball
very
on a
rare. What?
I said you used your master ball on a ratata.
Yeah, I used it through my master ball. At a zigzagoon or something like that. And yeah, so I really appreciate the measure up, and I'm sorry it was wasted. So we were close though. We're getting there.
Yeah.
I was duped by the fact that this is like the heaviest coyote of all time.
Unfortunately, as we always go with the upper end of average, but unfortunately, this put us at a Jessica Eaton worst measure up experience, where it's close,
Oh,
but not quite right.
I need to be. So, but that's the gamble that you take when you don't ask me how many Roadrunners go into like all of the weight of all of the bodies of the solar system put together.
Yeah.
So to where I'm astronomically wrong, or you ask me how many Roadrunners go into a Roadrunner, and I know the answer is one.
The most interesting one has always been the cloud one, and that was because it's like, I did not know clouds are that big.
I didn't know clouds weighed 1 million otters.
Yeah.
Or 1 million mongooses.
Yes. Alrighty, that's all I got for that. Do you have any fast facts before we get into the major fact?
Yes, let's do some fast facts. So as you mentioned, these guys live in the southwest of North America, all the way down to Central America. But they can live as far east as Louisiana. But they are called Californianis, so they are pretty prevalent in California. They like arid desert regions with low levels of vegetation so that they can, run. They like to eat insects, spiders, centipedes, scorpions, mice, smaller birds, lizards, and even venomous snakes. There are some stories that report roadrunners seeing a rattlesnake and then taking pieces of a cactus and trapping it in this like little spiky gulag so that it can't escape, and then it eats it. I don't know. Apparently there's no like actual documentation of that, but that's the folklore around the Roadrunner.
That's a great gamer tag, spiky gulag.
Is it though?
Yeah, it's a good Xbox Live name.
Spiky Gulag Sniper X.
Little Spiky Gulag.
That's my rapper name. Little Spiky Gulag. So the thing that Roadrunners are known for is the thing that they're best at, which is running. They can reach up to 26 miles an hour, which is one of the fastest speeds for any flying bird. For any bird, the ostrich has it beat. And when I say speed, I mean ground speed. Obviously, like the falcon, like flying birds while they're flying are faster. But the ostrich can run up to 70 miles per hour, which is a lot faster, but it's also a lot bigger. When the Roadrunner runs, it goes completely horizontal, so that its tail is parallel with the ground. And that allows it to be very aerodynamic, and it also allows it to use its tail as a rudder while it's running to change directions. Because again, this bird weighs a little more than a pound, and it's moving at 26 miles an hour. The slightest change in its feathers can help it to steer. And not many people know this. At least I didn't. The Roadrunner is actually a cuckoo bird. That's why I called it One Ran Over the Cuckoo's Nest. And that's why it's in the order Cuculiformes, and it's in the family Cuculidae. And we've mentioned the cuckoo bird. It's a taxonomy LDT alum. They are known for laying their eggs in other birds' nests. They're brood parasites. And so when the Roadrunner or the cuckoo bird hatches, the other bird, like the crow or the raven or whatever, will feed their baby for them at the expense of the crow's babies. So they kind of they're freeloaders that basically take their kids to daycare that is completely staffed by people by birds that have been shanghaied into it. So yeah, that's their brood behavior. And they also have a pretty advanced vocalization structure. They have 7 different distinct calls, and many of them can be heard up to 1,000 feet away. So it's quite a ways. If, like less than a fifth of a mile. But and then they have slight variations on those calls, but seven distinct different kinds of sounds they can make, and they are pretty territorial. Males will attack other males that are entering their territory, which I assume usually involves dropping some sort of anvil or case of dynamite, or potentially, and this is pretty rare, putting up a photo of like a very large mural of a tunnel on a rock.
Yes.
To make the other males think that there's a tunnel, and then they just run into the rock and break their necks and die.
I love the David Attenborough documentary about that.
Yeah, it's actually, the painting of the mural is really intricate.
With berries and stuff.
Yeah, and their own feces. Obviously, that's not true. They will just peck them and run after them. Yeah. Those old cartoons are like super violent. I'm realizing. But there's actually this is kind of a tangent. There's actually a concept in video games called hang time, it's called coyote time, where there's a moment where you can run your character off of a cliff and still jump, even though technically none of your pixels are touching the cliff's pixels, and that's like a little bit of give, and it's more apparent in like Mario platforming games. But it's named after the coyote when he's chasing the Roadrunner, when he can run out onto thin air and he doesn't fall until he realizes that he's in thin air. Because reality is what you make it. Live your truth, coyote. But yeah, that's it. That's all my fast facts. Do you have any major facts?
I do. I have at least one. I'm calling this one Running Hot. So Roadrunners are high-performance athletes that are operating in some of the hottest places in North America, like the Sonoran Desert or the Mojave Desert. So, which are connected. I don't know when two deserts are connected. Why are they 2 deserts? That's what I want to know.
Maybe different biome, but different climates.
Yeah, maybe there's
Slightly.
different elevations and something, so it's the experience is different. So many desert animals are nocturnal, which allows them to avoid the heat of the day. But roadrunners are diurnal, which means they are most active during the day, during the frying pan hours. So to adapt to the heat and maintain a top performance so they can escape wily coyotes, they've developed some interesting thermoregulation tactics. So we've used the word thermoregulation before. It's usually used to talk about cold-blooded animals and how they regulate their body temperatures manually by like sunning themselves on a rock or taking a dip in a river or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But birds are warm-blooded, like mammals, like you and I. But the desert is so hot that the Roadrunner needs some special skills to avoid getting too hot. So they're most active from morning to noon, and then again in the evening. So they skip out on the hottest hours of the day. But since water is so scarce and absolutely vital, Roadrunners need to hold on to every drop that they can. So they have mucous membranes in the rectum, cloaca, and caecum that absorb every ounce of water before waste leaves the station for good.
Oh, I'm so disgusted that I know what all those words mean.
So before they do a 2, they get all the H2O they can out of it with these special mucous membranes. But then that's not it. That's the end of the process. But during digestion, their intestines are also covered in something called villi, which are these cylindrical protrusions on the inside of their intestines that increase the surface area of their intestinal tissue where water can be absorbed. So their twos are probably extremely dry.
Then number 2, my lord.
Roadrunners also have something in common with seabirds, despite their vastly different environments. So they have a special glands above their eyes that eliminate salt. Most birds eliminate salt like we do by peeing. However,
Or sweating.
Yeah. Do birds sweat? I don't know.
No, we sweat to get rid of salt.
Yeah.
And we pee.
But glands that help remove excess salt from your body when water is scarce, so you don't have to pee it out, is essential. So, like, did we do the the Galapagos iguana, the aquatic? I forget what it's called. The iguana that swims in the ocean.
That sounds like something we've done, or at least something we were planning on
The
doing.
marine iguana.
We have done that, I think.
They also have like an ability to eject salt in this way. So I couldn't exactly find out why. Like, it seemed to be connected to their like thermal regulation. I mean, at least like dealing with the desert. But I couldn't find out exactly why. Like, you need salt to retain water. So it seems like they want salt. The closest thing I could get to an explanation was that you lose a lot of water when you pee. So if that's your primary method of getting rid of salt, and water is scarce, then you're going to be salty. I don't know. Because every time type in Roadrunner and salt, you get a brand of street salt used to get rid of snow. That's called a Roadrunner.
I would think you would run into recipes for Roadrunner stew.
Oh, I hope not. I don't think that is a thing.
Really? People don't eat Roadrunners?
Little desert chickens.
Fast desert chickens.
So, of course, the desert isn't just hot. It can also be really cold at night, especially in the winter. A Roadrunner's body temperature can fluctuate more than 10 degrees between night and day.
Yeah, that would be lethal for most warm-blooded animals.
During the day, they can be as hot as 104 degrees. That's a fever, dog. That's a pretty bad one. And then while in low activity and in colder air at night, their temperature drops to 93 degrees. So that's the opposite of a fever. That's your what is it? Hypothermia.
I guess we could survive with either of those situations.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like 10 degrees on either side, where we rest at 98.6 and we go up to 108 or 88.
This is them on the regular. 104 degree fever, I think your brain starts cooking. Like, it's not good. So
it's
if you
not
were
sustainable.
Every day like that, it would definitely probably kill you.
Yeah, it's
eventually.
Not good or ideal, but I think it's not instantly. It's not completely lethal, like 108 degree fever would be.
You're slow roasting your insides at that point. In the morning
with salt.
they rapidly, yeah, Isn't it great with salt and water? You're making a stew. You got a stew going.
Your own
So
stew.
after the nighttime when their body temp is low, they rapidly heat in the morning by sunning themselves. And they'll spread their wings with their backs to the sun, and they'll puff up their back feathers so that it's like sticking out and exposing their dark skin to the sun's rays. So they'll stay like this for hours in the morning.
Like a Tesla booting up.
But during the winter,
solar powered something.
During the winter, they might do this for multiple times per day, multiple hours. Like an anhinga. Have you ever seen an anhinga doing this?
All the time. They're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like cormorants, too.
Cormorants. Sunning themselves. Yeah.
Did I ever tell you that I was at Murakami Gardens down near you
Boca.
a few years ago, and I saw a cormorant, which these guys have necks that are like, I don't know, the size of like the size of markers, like the thickness of like a dry erase marker.
A small cormorant, maybe. I think it feel like a
anyway,
$50.
If it caught a fish, and we watched it, its entire neck expand into the shape of this fish as it went down its gullet. Oof. And I was like, that is incredible. And that seems like it would be super painful if that fish's like little barbs ever got stuck on the way down. But Cormorant's been doing this, like that's all they do. Like this survival depends on not getting stabbed by a fish on the way down the gullet. So
that's all I got.
All right, I didn't realize they sunbathe.
You wouldn't think that anything in the desert would sunbathe, especially not a warm-blooded thing.
I mean, winter gets really cold.
It does. It do.
But still, like, I feel like you would sunbathe and be like, too much, like really fast. Or you just be like, I mean, my body temperature's low, but I mean, it'll get to where it needs to go by the end of today, or by the end of the morning. But yeah, that was the Roadrunner. It's one of those like famous animals that we still haven't covered yet. I mean, now we have, but we've gone over 200 episodes without covering.
Yeah,
but
we have another one coming up. I won't say what it is. It's a secret.
Yeah, it's fun to what famous animals haven't we done, and then do some research on them and be like, wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So, stay tuned. For you out there in Podcastia, go the distance. Eliminate your excess body salt and get as much moisture out of your cloaca as you can, like the Roadrunner here in Life, Death, and Taxonomy.
Hey Taxonomy Titans, I just want to remind you that we now have a Patreon. Patrons can see full video episodes and get shoutouts on the show. But ultimately, it's a way for you to help us cover some costs and get even better. Still, reviews are the best way to help us grow. So if you haven't left one yet, we'd really love to hear from you. As always, thanks for listening and engaging.
Life, Death, and Taxonomy is my favorite in the world podcast.
Have we done the sperm whale?
We have not.
Ooh, okay. Let's do the sperm whale.